I want to give you a little piece of understanding about something. Sometimes it sounds to you like we're talking about two cut and dried world, in the vortex and out of the vortex, and in the vortex being non-physical and out of the vortex being physical. And those are not the distinctions that we're making at all, because you can be in the vortex and physical, meaning you can be in the vortex and manifesting things, because the only difference between what humans call physical or manifested and non-physical is that there's stuff that is manifesting. So we want you to understand that if you can separate these two concepts as vibrational concepts, in the vortex feels better, out of the vortex doesn't feel so good. In the vortex, higher vibration, out of the vortex, lower vibration. In the vortex, no resistance, only allowing. Out of the vortex, plenty of resistance, not allowing. So you're thinking about vibration relative to all of this. Then you begin saying, and this is the thing that we want you to understand, if you can get into the vortex for no reason, in other words, I'm going there because it feels good, period. I'm not going there for a Range Rover. I'm not going there for more money. I'm not going there for a lover. I don't have ulterior motives that are the reason that I'm going there. Because if you've got ulterior motives as the reason that you're going there, the ulterior motive that isn't yet satisfied, that isn't yet manifested, you're just practicing the absence of it. If you say, I'm going to go to the vortex, so here's how it goes. Oh, there's a vortex over there. I know. I think I'll go in. Why? I'm going to go into the vortex so that I can get my lover who isn't here. And out you go. I'm going to go into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex so I can find money that isn't here. So the reason that we want you to go into the vortex, I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because my heart sings there. I'm going to the vortex because I'm happy there. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. I'm going to the vortex because I breathe more deeply there. I'm going to the vortex because I feel more clear-minded there. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. If you will go for emotional reasons, you'll get in and you'll hang around a little longer. And here's the thing that we so want you to hear. We almost shouldn't tell you, but we will. If you hang around in this vortex for the emotional reason that we're describing, stuff's going to start manifesting for you inside the vortex. You're going to be in the vortex with a Range Rover. You're going to be in the vortex with more money. You see what we're getting at? Because it is right that things materialize for you, but things that you want can't materialize for you if you're blocking them with your unworthiness. Now, doesn't the word unworthiness sound different than it did before?
Feels different.
Unworthy is not something that someone else can pronounce you. Unworthy is just something that you do to yourself because you refuse to go into the vortex. Or you go for the wrong reason and it spits you right out. For example, it's easy in this economic climate to think about shortage of money. Even though more wealth is being made by some people at this time than in all of the history of economics. But still, it's easier for most people to focus on shortage. It's easy for most people to focus upon the decline of their physical apparatus as they worry about their physical well-being, especially as they project themselves into the future. It's much easier if you walk about and if you were to be so bold as to say, I believe in my physical wellness. If you walked down any street in any city proclaiming your confidence in your well-being, you would be inundated with well-meaning, completely wrong people who would come forward to let you know you should not be so overly optimistic because haven't you heard about this or this or this or this or this? the facts of manifestation would be presented to you in order to get you to be convinced in your own vulnerability. And we want you to understand that even amidst all of this pessimism, it is astonishing to us to see people frantic about a healthcare system that from our point of view, you want never to need. It's like planning for your personal decline and everyone else's as well. Now, we are not encouraging you to not help out anyone who needs help. We just think that if you are convincing yourself all day, every day about your decline, Esther will listen to a comedian on television talking about old people, old, decrepit, declining, sexually devalued people. And she always says the same thing back to them. That's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Because they're not talking about themselves today, but they're talking about moving through time, and they are planning decline for everyone they see, and they are not leaving themselves out of it, we promise you. So we know that we are stretching you into some different ways of looking at things, because unless you are willing to accept that you are a vibrational being who lives in a vibrational universe, then you cannot begin to understand how things are happening in the way they are to you or to anyone else. In other words, until you make the conscious association between the source energy part of you and the part of you who is here focused in your physical body, you have no real guidance. You can't begin to consistently move in the direction of that which you are becoming. Most physical beings, almost as soon as they are born, begin monitoring their behavior and measuring it against the results that they get from other humans. So if you behave in a way that pleases the humans who are near you, they smile and they reward you with words and behavior. But if you displease them, you know that right away too, because they frown and they withhold and they punish. And so, without meaning to, you've been trained away from your guidance system by well-meaning others who are doing something that is virtually impossible. They're attempting to sort out all manner of manifestation and put it into piles of good and not so good and less good and really less good and terrible. They've sorted out these piles, and then they join together in groups as they try to protect their piles. It's such an interesting thing, the limitation of these piles. And what we're encouraging you to do is, rather than trying to join the group with the loudest voice, or even the group with the strongest influence on you for whatever reason, we're encouraging you to try to let go of the influence that others have set upon you while you reach for the influence of the source within you. So what we're wanting you to understand is that what is, even if almost everybody you know has almost the same similar and maybe by your standard not wanted experience, it still has nothing to do with you, except that your attention to this unwanted experience causes you to practice the frequency of it, which means it will become your experience. And then they say, see, I was right. And we say, you weren't right, you were influential. You influenced people into a vibrational pattern of thought that did not serve them. And had they been aware that the emotion that they are feeling is their indication, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now. And if you cared more about how you feel than about being politically correct or medically correct or statistically accurate, Esther will say, but Abraham, it's true. And we say, do you even know what those words mean? It's true. It's true. Do you know what it's true means? The phrase, it's true, simply means Somebody gave their attention to something long enough to achieve a vibrational alignment with it, and law of attraction gave them what they were thinking about. That's what "it's true" means. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would at least add another phrase to the words "it's true." And that other phrase would be, "It's true and I want some of it." It's true and I want some of it. Because if it's true and you don't want any of it, it being true is not good enough reason for you to give your attention to it. Play it for a little while, over the next 5 or 10 days. It's true, but I don't think I would like any of that. But it's really true. But I don't think I would like any of that. It's going to be quite shocking to you how many things you give your attention to that are true, that you don't want to activate in your vibration, but you are because it's true. And we're encouraging you today to find a new criteria, a criteria that the source within you has found long ago. The criteria to give your attention to something is, does this that I'm holding as my object of attention resonate with the true core of my being? In other words, does it feel good when I think about it? This thing that I'm focused upon, is it in such vibrational sync with the source within me that when I focus upon it, I'm wide open to the energy that creates worlds, allowing the cells of my body to accurately communicate with one another, bringing me thriving resonance and well-being? That's the sort of truth we would encourage you to look for. The truth, the only truth, of pure positive energy that ripples through your being when you find alignment with the source within you. That's truth. That's truth that will serve you. That's truth that will refuel you. That's truth that will rebalance you. That's truth that will give you clarity. We want you to realize that you were source energy before you came forth into this physical body. And a part of who you eternally are is focused now here in this body. So here you are, just like you knew you would be, sifting and sorting and expanding, coming to constant new conclusions about what would be better, how the world would be better, how government would be better, how your community would be better, how your body would feel better, how your personal circumstances would be better, how this relationship would be better, how that situation would be better, all day, every day, launching those rockets. And what we want you to know is that each time you offer one of those requests, it is pure to us. In other words, we stand in your vortex receiving your request. Your inner being becomes the vibrational equivalent of each and every request that you set forth. But as we said at the beginning of our conversation here with you today, often you don't go with your rocket. You stay outside the vortex, so to speak, justifying why you need or why you want the improvement. And as you beat the drum of the injustice that you're living, I don't have enough and it's not fair, and I've never had enough and it's never been fair, and those people around me don't have enough and that's never been fair. What you do, you don't mean to, but what you do is you keep active in yourself a vibration that prevents you from joining the vibration of your desire. That's why your desire doesn't feel good to you. Your desire doesn't feel good to you when you doubt it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you don't believe it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you don't feel worthy of it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you are in a state of blame or guilt or anger or frustration. But as long as you are feeling negative emotion, it means you're not up to speed with your desire. And that's logical in many cases, isn't it? Because what's been happening and what you've been observing is usually the reason that you're offering the vibration that you're offering. Most people are responding to what's happening around them. If someone is rude to you, maybe somebody you love, maybe somebody you don't even know, but if someone is rude to you, and you observe their rudeness, you usually have a knee-jerk response to that. And if you keep it up, you're going to develop a pattern of believing that people are rude, or of believing that you are inferior in some way and attracting it. In other words, you're going to get a complex if you keep focusing upon things that keep happening and keep them active in your vibration.